Welcome back. Police believe Brogan Dulle was by himself on the night that he hanged himself and that no one else had knowledge or assisted him in any way.
While police searched several other buildings adjacent to Dulle's apartment, they never made it inside the one where he was ultimately found. 9 on Your Side reporter Jay Warren begins our live team coverage tonight, live in Mount Auburn with the story. Jay?
Well, up a fire escape, in a third-story window, and ultimately down into the basement. That is the path that police say Brogan Dulle took in the last moments of his life. And while police say they made numerous attempts to get inside the building that you see behind me, ultimately, they never made it inside.
The building wasn't open from what we could tell. There was no entry points to the building, and the third floor window being completely knocked out didn't reveal any jagged edges or anything that would certainly suggest there was a breach. Our investigators were trying to locate somebody that was either taking care of the building, renovating the building. We were not successful at doing that to get in.
We spoke to Wayne Wallace, a former detective with the Kenton County Police Department who has his own investigative consulting business.
So you have to look in behind doors, behind windows, and you have to look in areas that this young man could have gone into. And that includes any vacant home, any building, or anything that is within walking distance of this area.
Wallace says what drives an investigation has a lot to do with the information police get from the family.
What changes the circumstance is the level of suspicion. If becomes suspicious, not from a criminal nature, but just from a missing person standpoint, that this young man is out of character, that should raise the alarm. That should let people know this young man is acting out of character, and therefore we need to conduct our search effort accordingly.
In the meantime, police say we may never know what motivated Brogan Dulle to end his life.
I've posed scenarios. We've sat at the table. What about this? And we've created more questions for ourselves that we can answer. I mean, it's just one of those things that in my 27 years, it's just one of those that you don't see all the time.
Now, the Cincinnati Zoo is organizing a vigil for Brogan Dulle. He was a part-time employee there for 3 years, and we know that UC's President Santa Ono will also be there. My colleague Amy Wattis is there now with a preview. Amy?
Well, Jay, that's right, and the zoo is actually closing its gates right now in order to accommodate all of the people expected at tonight's vigil. And now the zoo director tells me the vigil is going to be taking place right where I'm standing, and as you can see behind me, they have a stage set up. That's where UC President Santa Ono will be speaking to the community tonight when he comes here for tonight's vigil. Now, Brogan Dulle worked in zoo admissions part-time for 3 years. The zoo director says everyone thought very highly of him. Folks who work here said Dulle cared a lot about young people and was a very pleasant young man. It was heartbreaking for folks here to find out about Dulle's fate. Now, zoo staff hope tonight's vigil can bring the people who attend and people in the community some peace.
The zoo is a place of solace for many families all the time to come and share time with their family and be outdoors. And tonight it's a time for people from throughout the tri-state to come and share their stories. I know Dr. Ono's coming from UC, and there'll be some ministers and some music, and just a chance to say goodbye and say how much they cared about him.
Now the gates open back up to the public at 6:30. The vigil starts at 7:30 tonight. Parking is free to the public, and anyone is welcome to attend tonight's vigil for Brogan Dulle. Amy Wattis, 9 on Your Side, live from the Cincinnati Zoo.
Amy, thank you.